The Switch 2 has been out for a while and I still don't have a clean answer on whether you should buy one in 2026, because it depends entirely on who you are and how you game. So, in this video I'm going to tell you what actually changed since the release, what's generally annoying about owning one, why it is slowly replacing my PS5 setup, and at the end I'll tell you exactly who should buy and who should wait. I'm Ronaldo, I talk about tech and how it fits into real life. Let's start with the thing that has been bugging me. I paid $500 for this console. Almost a year later, the game library still doesn't quite justify that. If I would have known how thin the catalog would still be, I might have waited for a bit. And if you're coming from an older Switch and wondering whether the library alone justifies the upgrade, right now it doesn't. Not yet. The shelf looks pretty empty if you're specifically hunting for games that actually pushes the new hardware capabilities. But there is some good news. Third-party support is better than it's ever been on Nintendo platform. Seeing Cyberpunk and Resident Evil recommend running on this hardware, it is not a small thing. It means developers are taking it seriously in a way we never did with the original Switch. And existing titles are starting to catch up too. Some games have already been updated to take advantage of the new hardware. Better frame rates, higher resolution, smoother performance. Some of those updates are free, some cost extra. I'll get into the specifics of that later. But before we get into the good stuff, we need to talk about the cartridges, because this is messed up. The card is basically a glorified license key. You pop it in, and then you're hit with a 50 GB download anyway. It is annoying. If you're buying physical to save space, you're wasting your time. And then you have to deal with the micro SD Express cards. Yes, they are faster, but the price is ugly. I was looking at the bill for a 1 TB card and it felt like I was buying a second console. It is a hidden cost that nobody mentions. And now let's talk about performance. The Switch 2 is more than capable, and as the time goes by and more titles get released or updated, you really start to notice it. I loved the Switch OLED, but I also had some bad experiences with it. The UI was slow to the point where you would open the eShop, go make a cup of coffee, come back, and guess what? It is still loading. The performance was poor by today's standards. The Switch 2 fixes the core stuff. It is not a subtle jump, it is immediately obvious the first time you boot something like Cyberpunk that would have literally melted the old hardware. When you hold it, the Switch 2 screen tricks your brain into thinking the image is sharper than a 4K TV. And finally the frame rates are actually smooth across the board. And guess what? The UI is fast too. The eShop loads in seconds, which sounds like a low bar, but I genuinely thought my old Switch OLED was broken. It still has this weird Nintendo clutter everywhere, but at least it doesn't crash while I'm trying to buy a game. Honestly, this is the first time the Switch 2 doesn't feel like a compromise, well, except for one thing, but more on that later. The screen is 7.9 inches. Coming from the Switch OLED, you notice that extra space immediately. It is a big jump for open world games. It is more immersive, it is brighter, it is 120Hz supported by some titles. But unfortunately it's not OLED. The blacks look grayish and a bit washed out in dark scenes. For a neon city like Cyberpunk, it's fine. For anything moody, the LCD panel shows its limits. On the other hand, Zelda Breath of the Wild looks absolutely astonishing on this panel, though there is a catch. If you want to enjoy improved resolution and smoother frame rates, you need to buy Zelda Upgrade, €10 for the Switch 2 version of Breath of the Wild. I have mixed feelings about that. It feels a bit cheap to charge for a patch, but I guess it is better than 30. Still, it leaves a bit of a sour taste. But what about ergonomics? The old Switch 2 was designed for someone with very specific tiny hand proportion. This one just fits. It is a bigger form factor, the Joy-Cons are larger and it feels like a proper piece of equipment rather than a toy. The magnetic system is fast, it is intuitive. There's a tiny bit of flex if you squeeze the sides, which feels a bit cheap, but you never notice it when you're actually playing. Now, battery life. I would go as far as saying, it is disappointing. Don't expect miracles. If you're pushing the hardware with Cyberpunk, you can practically watch the battery percentage tick down, 1% every minute or two. It is stressful. If you're going on a trip, bring a brick, you'll definitely need it. But why is Nintendo Switch replacing my PS5? Well, first of all, my TV area is a disaster zone. I put on a game and within 4 minutes there's a Peppa Pig negotiation happening. I'm a dad of two. I don't have gaming hours. I have 15 minutes before someone starts crying. I have 20 minutes after everyone is asleep, if I'm lucky. The Switch 2 has zero friction. I pick it up, I'm playing in 10 seconds. I can take it anywhere. I can hide it under the pillow if I hear my wife coming. And the fact that both Nintendo games and third-party AAA titles exist on the same console, in my hands, is an absolute game changer. Don't get me wrong, my PS5 is a phenomenal machine, but it requires a setup. I need a TV, I need a headspace, I just don't have it most of the time. But the main question is it finally worth buying Nintendo Switch 2 in 2026? Well, the library is growing fast, component shortages are real and the prices are probably going up. And this year alone we're getting Indiana Jones, Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, and perhaps a rumored Luigi's Mansion 4. Right now is not just a good time to buy, it is the smart time to get one. And if you're still not sure whether this console is for you, look, if your life looks anything like mine, kids, shared TV, 15-minute windows, don't hesitate. If you're young, have time, and a good setup already, generally wait. In a year this thing is going to look very different. It is not perfect, the storage costs are annoying, the price of games is high. But as a piece of hardware for the kind of gaming I actually want to do, nothing else comes close right now. Well, except maybe for the Steam Deck, but that's a proper comparison for a separate video. Different device, different person. I hope this video helped. If it did, subscribe and hit that like button. See you next time and cheers!